The galaxy of Warhammer 40,000 is a place where hope goes to die. Endless war, endless hatred, endless bloodshed, yet even in this nightmare, few beings would shake the foundations of the Imperium like Magneto, the Master of Magnetism. Mutant revolutionary. And one of the most dangerous minds ever born. But what if Eric Lyncher didn't emerge on Earth's 21st century battlefields? What if he arrived instead in the grim darkness of the far future? What if Magneto entered Warhammer 40K? Magneto's arrival would not be subtle. One moment, the void above an Imperial world is calm. The next, every ship in orbit screams as its hull twists, adamantium groans, steel bends like flesh. Entire battle fleets lose control as their systems tear themselves apart. Astropaths would cry out in terror, tech priests would collapse in confusion, and the Imperium would immediately realize something impossible had occurred. This was not warp sorcery. This was something else entirely. Magneto's powers in the 40K universe would be terrifyingly amplified. Warhammer 40K is a galaxy built on metal, cities of steel, armies of ceramite, titans of adamantium, starships kilometers long, every bolt shell, every tank tread, every power sword. All of it bends to Magneto's will, and like psykers, Magneto does not draw power from the warp. He does not risk demonic possession. He does not attract the attention of chaos by channeling forbidden energies. His power is pure physics, elevated to godlike precision. To the Imperium, that makes him an anomaly. To the Adeptus Mechanicus, that makes him a blasphemy. The first faction to confront Magneto would likely be the Adeptus Astartes. A Space Marine strike force would be deployed, believing him to be a rogue psyker or Xeno's weapon. They would be wrong. Bolters would jam mid-firing. Power armor would lock solid. Chainswords would twist into useless scrap. Entire squads of Space Marines, genetically engineered demigods, would be ripped from the battlefield, crushed together into a screaming mass of metal and flesh, and Magneto would barely move. To him, Space Marines are not gods. They are weapons, and weapons can be taken apart. The Imperium would escalate. The Inquisition would declare Magneto an Omega-level threat. Exterminatus would be considered. But even that would not guarantee victory. Magneto could pull orbital weapons from the sky. He could redirect cyclonic torpedoes. He could turn void shields against the ships that rely on them. Entire Imperial worlds could be rendered uninhabitable not through fire, but through the collapse of infrastructure itself. Hive cities would fold inward like dying stars. Eventually, the Imperium would make its greatest mistake. They would attempt to control him. Captured mutants, sanctioned psykers, and even pariahs would be brought forward to study him. But Magneto is not a prisoner. He is a revolutionary. And the moment he understands the Imperium's ideology, its cruelty, its oppression, its endless genocide, he would see it as the ultimate enemy of his kind. In Warhammer 40K, mutants are hunted. Abhumans are enslaved. Psychic children are fed to a corpse god on a throne. To Magneto, this galaxy is Auschwitz scaled to infinity, and he has never tolerated tyrants. Magneto would not side with the Imperium. He would declare war on it, not as a conqueror, but as a liberator. Magneto would quickly attract followers: mutants, psykers, abhumans, even disillusioned tech priests who witness his mastery over metal without ritual or prayer. To them, Magneto would not be a god. He would be proof that humanity does not need the Emperor, proof that strength does not require chains, proof that evolution should not be feared. Entire mutant uprisings would erupt across Imperial space. Forge worlds would fall. Hive worlds would revolt. And for the first time in millennia, the Imperium would face rebellion not fueled by chaos but by reason. Chaos would take notice. The Chaos Gods' hunger for power. Magneto would fascinate them. But they would also fear him, because Magneto does not bargain, he does not kneel, and he does not corrupt. Khorne would despise his lack of bloodlust. Tzeentch would find his mind dangerously resistant to manipulation. Nurgle would struggle to rot metal held together by absolute control. And Slaanesh would find no excess to exploit in a man driven by grim purpose. Chaos would try to claim him. They would fail. The Adeptus Mechanicus would hate Magneto more than anyone. To them, technology is sacred. To Magneto, technology is obedient. He does not chant, he does not pray, he commands. Machine spirits would fall silent in his presence not because they are appeased, but because they are overridden. Entire Titan legions could be dismantled mid-stride, god machines reduced to kneeling husks. The Omnissiah would tremble. What about the Emperor of Mankind? If the Emperor were truly aware of Magneto's existence, he would recognize something dangerous. Not raw power, but ideology. Magneto represents a future where humanity evolves beyond gods and tyrants alike. A future the Emperor once dreamed of and then abandoned. Whether the Emperor would attempt to destroy Magneto or recruit him remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: they could never coexist. Against the Xenos, Magneto would be just as devastating. Arc technology held together by scrap and belief would be torn apart instantly. Necron metal would resist him more than anything else. But even living metal obeys physics, and Magneto understands physics better than gods understand worship. The Eldar would see him as a walking catastrophe. The Tau would see him as the ultimate weapon, but Magneto would belong to no faction, only to his cause. Over time, Magneto could reshape the galaxy, not into peace, but into balance. The Imperium weakened, chaos denied its prize, mutants freed from extermination, technology no longer shackled by superstition. War would still exist, but it would no longer be eternal.